Hello everyone, I'm Von Linsington, and on today's episode of Wugle Maker, we'll be making Hades from LoreOlympus. First, I rolled out some clay. I've cut out a thin strip, and I'm placing it on top of the clay again so that it can be 2 layers, and when this is wrapped around the Wugle's limb, it's going to look like a suit jacket and a shirt poking out once it's all painted. I start wrapping around the bottom, and don't worry about any cracks, we can smooth that out as we go along. Once you wrap it around to the bottom of the limb again, just cut off the rest of the strip and save it for the other side. And smooth out the bottom. And just repeat the same thing on the other side. Next, I'm going to use my needle tool and use a rolling motion to kind of smooth out the space in between what's going to be the sleeves and the body so that it doesn't look like there's a big crack in the middle between the two, and it'll look a lot smoother once the whole thing is painted. Next, I'm going to cut out a thin strip that's going to be the collar of the dress shirt. And I'm going to cut an angle here, and I kind of also want a little bit more so that it's folded over, so I'm just going to cut another piece here on the edge of what's going to be the collar. Get a little bit more of that dress shirt shape to it. And I've wrapped this around, and I'm going to copy what I've done on the other side by just cutting out this small piece and then tucking it underneath. And I can get my sharp edges back by using my needle tool and using that rolling motion. I'm going to finish off the suit jacket by just cutting off a couple strips here right next to each other, and then since they're lined up next to each other, I can kind of make sure I get the exact same mirror image on both sides for the lapel of the suit. Once they match and I make sure they're the right size, I just patch that up against each sleeve of the shirt and leaving it open in the middle. I want to leave some space because I'm going to make his scarf later. Next, I'm taking out my garlic press so that I can get some strands for hair, as well as maybe some other pieces. I always get my eyes out of this as well. In fact, we'll do that first. Get the eyes in place so that I can kind of put the rest of the face in perspective. Just take these 2 pieces and roll them out. And then I pop those on with my thumbs. Hades has wavy hair, so instead of lining up the hair as I've done in some of my previous episodes, I'm just going to go by one at a time and kind of wrinkle them up with my fingers and overlap them, give them all different angles, and give it kind of a messy, wavy look. There's going to be a lot of layers and overlap. Get a couple short ones in the front. And I'm making sure that all of the hair stays right over the collar that I've made so that it looks like a neat haircut and it's not dragging all over the place in the back. Now I'm ready to make the scarf, so I've just rolled out a little bit of clay and I'm just flattening it out with my fingers and cutting it. I'm going to curl the edges with my fingers so that it looks tucked in towards his neck. Do Wugles have necks? I guess Hades does, but the Wugle doesn't. And pop this on right here, and I'm going to use my needle tool to make sure my edges stay nice and clean and it gets pressed in. And from here, all I need to do is bake it and paint it. I really love how LoreOlympus uses its color to show each different character and how the colors kind of change in scene to scene, where Hades will always be blue, but those shades kind of change. So as I layered up, I did a whole bunch of different shades of blue. You can especially see it in the hair, where I layered up from a light blue to a lighter blue, eventually to white as I finished off. I really enjoyed making this, and of course, I can't leave Hades on the shelf without Persephone, so tune in next week because I'll definitely be making Persephone, and I'll be making her in her fluffy white coat because I need to beat myself up and make the hardest Wugle possible if I was actually going to make Persephone, and I love her in that giant coat. But let's get back to Hades, who I'm actually painting, and stop gushing about Persephone. This was a lot of fun to make, and I'd love to hear about which characters you love in LoreOlympus. It is an amazing web comic, and if you're not reading it, you should. And if you're not going to read it, then hopefully you'll see it when it comes to Netflix, as I hear the Jim Henson Company has picked this up, and I'm super excited about that. Make sure to drop me a comment and let me know which characters you'd like to see next, which webcomics I need to read next, so that I will know about your favorite characters. Remember to subscribe. I'll be back every Wednesday making a different Wugle and filling up the Wugle shelf. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you guys next time.